Hi everyone, welcome to Privacy Cast. Right, this is our fourth season, and we are a leading privacy podcast in India where we're talking about privacy a lot. But today we have a lot of thought on the rules that are coming in. The PDP Act is getting converted into rules, and then rules obviously will translate into certifications. It will translate into technology work. So today we're going to talk a lot about privacy in leadership, privacy, how to strategize as a DPO, and then how certifications can work through. And obviously, we'll keep it a bit more candid today. So we have none other than Pankaj Rai.
Hi.
So Mr. Pankaj Rai is the CEO and founder of Quality Austria Central Asia, and he has been one of the very successful organizations in. By the way, we are both in Noida, so that's how we are discussing. So one of the most successful organizations in India for certifications in our industry, and henceforth here we are discussing about how to do it right, how do we do it, and what is his experience while building QACA and scaling QACA in last 10 odd years, 15 odd years?
15 years.
15 years, yeah. So success comes in 15 years. I think last time we had the founder of Privy, ID5.
Yeah.
And everybody knows Privy right now, but
Right.
he said that this is my 10th year, and the success has come after doing this again and again, and just going about it. So I think great. I'm looking forward to have a conversation with you. So what's your thought on certifications today in India and a global per se? How do you see that, sir?
Right. Thank you, Akarsh. Thank you, everybody. You see, certification in India is doing great. Unlike the normal belief that certifications are not value adding, I sincerely believe that a country like India, which is developing, anything you do, there is a negative side of it. That there is a mushroom growth of certification industry. A lot of people get certified who do not deserve. But as a professional, we have to look at the positive side. That India has more than I would say 1 million certifications if I put across all the certificates. So India is a growing market. Certification has done a lot good to the Indian industry because now people are sensitized with respect to the basic SOPs, the corrective action, the plan, the policy, the procedures. And for any organization which is growing, like you said, we have grown and we are growing at a CAGR of 35%. Quality Austria is growing at 35%, which is highest in the industry. And if you ask me one reason why we are growing because there are a number of reasons. But if there is one reason I have to tell you, we are growing because we have a very clearly defined strategy. And our strategy is to engage with the customers and make sure that the existing customers comes to us for all his requirement. Because chasing new customers, getting new customers on board is very difficult. I'm not against it. All the organizations will be willing to get more and more new customers. But our way of looking at it,
it's always good to get one more, sir.
Absolutely. You should get one customer every day that way. But what is important is that once you get a customer, then understand their requirement fully. I know that this is a very generic statement that everybody tells that you have to understand customer requirement. But understanding customer requirement itself is a challenge. And the challenge is because customers, they themselves
don't know.
They know it, but they are not good enough to articulate their requirement. So they will tell something which is not obvious, and people who are facing the customer in any organization, including yours, mine, they also do not understand what my customer want. And this is the most, I would say, specialized skill that you are looking in a person, people who are actually facing the customer, because they cannot understand customer requirement, because customers themselves are not able to articulate. What is important is that, and that is where we are successful, because we have some people, we go and meet customers, even before they tell us their requirement, we tell them this is what you need, and then say, yes, I think you are right, sir, this is what we need. It's very important to have a right strategy, And when I say strategy, that means getting into areas which is growing, getting into areas which gives you a first mover advantage. Because the problem is with the startup companies like yours or mine, the problem is that if
You
we
guys are
chase,
not a startup, sir.
I mean, we still consider ourselves as a startup. Unless we become 1,000 crore, we will be branding ourselves as a startup. So when we chase something which is already there in the market, then people will perceive you as a low cost service provider.
I also hope that a lot of founders and people who are thinking about starting their own business and Indians are aspirational, right? Let's agree to that fact. Like Indians are very aspirational. So we hope that people who are listening can also take something from you, from your past experience, in how to actually quantify their thoughts on building a business by putting and being customer first. So I think what I'm trying to say is, there are a lot of perspectives to today's conversation, right? My one more question to you is, when you said that new areas, how do you see artificial intelligence in your own business, and how do you see AI in your customers' business? I think this is the hottest topic right now.
Right.
And industries are seeing transformation. Old industries will go off.
Absolutely.
New industries will come in. So how do you see that happening? Where are we headed, sir?
You see, artificial intelligence and certification to artificial intelligence has a great future. And everything which comes in the industry, there is a reason behind it, right? And why artificial intelligence has come so far? The reason is that industry, whether it is mine industry or manufacturing industry, all kind of industries are flooded with data, right? Now it is humanly impossible to actually analyze those data and to infer something which can take your company forward. So the problem is that most of organizations are flooded with data which is not required, right? And since you are flooded with data, you don't even know what you need and what you don't need. So artificial intelligence will at least provide, because this is the same thing, this was said when computers were introduced in India. So artificial intelligence is really, good.
And I also feel that from our perspective, right, we generally, even as SARO, right, we are focused on the responsible part of the AI. So we generally work on how do we make the AIs that organizations are onboarding more responsible, right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things that organizations have started looking for is definitely how can they have more control over the type of artificial intelligence that are being built, system repositories that are being built, and also to certify on top of it, so that they can give confidence to their customers that if their data is coming into them, they are following the top-notch standard. So we call it AIMS, Artificial Intelligence Management System, in ISO 42000, and you guys are champs. So as you said that you're looking forward to that business, and I think we are also doing the Responsible AI Summit, and we are working as partners there. So the RAI Summit that is happening. So what do you think about it, sir? What's your thought in the next coming years, and how do you see?
You see, I am very excited with the RAISA summit that you are doing for two reasons. Because one is that it is a RAI summit, of course, that is one reason. The second reason which is exciting to me is that the artificial intelligence, as I told you, that when you are leading a business in an organization, you need to be fed with the correct data. Now the mechanism that we define in an organization, there would be people who will be feeding me this data. So that means I depend on people to feed me the data. Now they decide what kind of data they are going to feed me. Whereas if I am driving an organization, it's like driving a car, right? So I need to see forward. What happens that if I am given a data which is not relevant, that means I am looking at the back view mirror, I am looking at the side view mirror, I am not looking front. Artificial intelligence will do one thing, that they will understand your pattern, they will understand your way of looking at the data, and you will be automatically, different organizations are going to be fed with the data that is needed to drive you the business. Why this is important? Again, because there are two kinds of data. One is the pull data, that is there in every organization. If I ask you that what is the productivity of your people, you may not tell me immediately, but you will take some time The data will be pulled from the system and you will tell this is the productivity of people. Now, when I am running a car, running a business, then I need to be fed with the data which is live data, because those data are going to be the basis for me to decide something. So, artificial intelligence will do one thing, that I will be getting data which is the push data, not the pull data. So, all the time I will be getting data that I want, online, live data, which is going to help me in taking decisions.
And definitely, I think that's while we look at the bigger gambit, right? I think one parallel of data as CEOs of organization, and I think now the perspective, you have also changed the gambit, and we're talking from a CEO perspective, management perspective, and I think that's where data and all the decisions today are driven by data.
Absolutely.
And henceforth, I think the thought process of a push data and a live update, so that everybody, so the agent of the AI, the agentic AI kind of connects and does that job. Then on top layer, conversations can happen with the generative part of the world, and then overall that result that we are getting is a lot more visibility on how should we utilize and go out with that, while we also are generally short on time. So, and it's always difficult to get your time, right? It's what's your story? And I think everybody would love to know about QACA a bit more. And what is Quality Austria Center's story? Like, what's your story, sir? What's this 15-year, if you want to summarize about, what happened, like how, and if anybody wants to start a company like you, right? Let's say there are aspirational Indians are out there, right? I think we all would love people to go out and start building their business, right? We all love that, right, in India. So what's that one thing you want to tell them a bit about what they should do now if they want to come at a year where you are? You always talk about CAGR, right? Because in India people generally talk about loss and investment, but I think one thing that I differently hear from you is always profit and a very strong business fundamental. So what's your thought on that, sir?
See, anybody who wants to build their business, there are few non-negotiable attributes that person should have. Number one, when you get up in the morning, you should be raring to go out and work. And the symptoms are, if you get up in the morning and you think that Saturday hota, Sunday hota, I would like to sleep further, ye subah kyun hui? So you are not that material. I'm not saying that everybody has to be entrepreneur, right? Because there are people also required to work, and both are equally important. At senior people in any organization, even the senior people are also entrepreneurs. If you are driving a business, if you are driving a business stream, then you are actually an entrepreneur, right? So that is number one. Number two is that if you cannot quantify your work, and if you cannot inspire people who are working for you, then you cannot run a business. Because in our kind of business, which is a service industry where there is no tangible product, you have to inspire people by doing something which they cannot do. Otherwise, sooner or later, people will not respect you. Because if they think that they can do it, then why they will come to you? So you have to do something which they cannot do. And when you talk about QACA, our story is very simple. I was working for BSI, British Standard, as a managing director for Southeast Asia.
And now you are probably bigger than them in.
We are in revenue. On record, I am telling you, we are 100% more than BSI.
Wow.
BSI is around 100 crore company, we are around 200 crore company. QACA story happened by accident. Yeah. I was working in Singapore. I was managing director for Southeast Asia. And every week I used to come from Singapore to Delhi, Delhi to Singapore. Friday I used to return from Singapore to Delhi, and Monday. So one flight I was coming back from Singapore. And I used to go to Singapore, and every week I used to think that why the hell I am here. Because people are so mechanical, people are so organized, people are so disciplined. And when I went there, I was around 40, and that was not the age to go out. Because, certain amount of indiscipline, sometimes certain amount of chaos is actually built in within us. It is into our DNA. So if we see things organized, then also this is a problem to us, because we are not used to having so much of things organized. So when I used to go to Singapore, I used to feel very bad that why this country is so peaceful, why processes are so strong, why people are so disciplined, Everything was meticulously planned.
Same China and Japan.
So when I was coming during one of my flight, it was in July 2010. So the person next to me sitting, he was the CEO of Quality Austria, and he was coming from Singapore to Delhi to find a partner. So generally during flight, I don't talk to the co-passenger because I believe that let him be at peace and let me be at peace. Why should I interfere into his peace? So, but somehow the conversation started. So he asked me, what do you do? And I told him that I am doing, he was very excited that, oh, I am going for a partner, why don't you work?
Wow.
I said that yes, we can start. So then he came to Delhi, I came to Delhi, and we had a long discussion about it. That is how the partnership happened.
By a flight, a random flight ticket.
It was an accident. I mean, I would not say it was a planned thing, though it was there in my mind that I would not work in Singapore, I'll come to India. I had an offer from a leading certification body to be their country director. I had accepted it also, but when this thing happened, then I said no. And 2010 we started this partnership, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, we made huge losses.
Wow.
And nobody was supporting me. Nobody means nobody.
First 4 years?
4 years, huge losses. I placed my flat also to bank. We got loan, we got private loan from so many people. Some people were there from Lucknow also. I would not name them. So we took private finance, we took bank finance. Then 2014 things changed. 2014 September.
That's when you learned the trick on how.
Not learned the trick. It was again an opportunity, and that opportunity was encashed by us. Again, I would say that more of a gut feeling. American Tower called us and they wanted to do a due diligence. They wanted to buy certain towers of Vyom, and they wanted us to complete the entire exercise in 28 days, 3,200 visits. I did not know whether this is going to happen or not. They just asked us, and my colleague was there who is heading to telecom. He went over there.
Is he still working?
Yeah, he's still working.
So for last 10, like
for
he was
15 years.
Yeah. So I think the beauty is that people who are working with you when you are in loss, and they're still working with you when you're in profit. I think that's the beauty of some people who we are because of them.
That is also very important for everybody to understand that people who are good should never leave you. Though it is very difficult, because people who are good, people who are competent, they are a bit aggressive also. Sometimes they throw tantrums also. But you as a leader have to believe that you are not losing if you are managing your people. Because everything we are not losing and
I'm
winning.
taking all these lessons also, while this podcast is getting recorded, I'm just hearing
because
very strongly.
If I am a leader and here is a person whom I may not like, but the person is good for the organization. So for me, the organization has to come first.
Exactly.
And if the person is delivering for the organization, even if I don't like a person, the person has to be there. Come what may, the person has to be there.
That's one thought, that when people leave their jobs, it was my thought, and when you start the organization, we forget that the revenue of the organization, this organization is a human as well, it's a person as well. And it is different from the achievement of the organization, and achievement of the founder should not be so intertwined. It has to run like a function. It has to run like an engine. So I think one thing that we turned away from was calling ourselves family, because we wanted to call ourselves a team. Because we want to be the best football team, we want to be the best privacy team, we want to be the best security, best responsible AI team, and not a family. And then we want to fight it out there with all the big fours. And I'm just hearing you and I'm just feeling great. And by the way, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for being our ISO 42001 partner. And let's get India certified on ISO. Yeah. Sure.